Well, hello there, Scorpio. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we're doing a very special tarot reading in celebration of the full moon in Pisces, which will occur next week on August 30th or 31st. But this is a super blue moon, a very rare occasion, and we actually are already feeling the effects of this full moon and will for the next 2 weeks. So let's talk about this, why this is such a rare phenomenon. We're combining the effects of a super full moon and a blue moon. A super moon is when the moon's orbit comes closer to the earth, and therefore the moon looks bigger in the sky. And because of that, it has a greater impact. It brings more of that full moon energy towards us. So full moons are the culmination, the harvest, the fruition of something that we planted 6 months ago with the new moon in Pisces. So, planted a seed 6 months ago, you've nurtured it, worked on it, gave it a lot of love and sunshine, and now you are going to harvest it and seeing something come to fruition. Now, because this is a super moon, that is going to have a bigger impact. You're going to have more abundance, more joy, more fulfillment out of whatever you planted 6 months ago. Now, the blue moon is very special because you've heard the saying, once in a blue moon. Well, that's something that is magical, that plops into our lap. So this is a special opportunity, a special relationship, a special situation that comes onto your path almost magically out of the blue, that helps you to have that sense of manifestation, that fruition, that harvest of whatever you planted 6 months ago. So Scorpio, this is actually happening in your 5th house of pleasure and play, adventure, freedom, inner child, just that sense of whatever you planted 6 months ago, something that you wanted to be able to have, either more children in your life, more freedom in your life, more adventure in your life. Well, that is about to happen. So we're going to take a look first at the overall energies with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details about how this full moon in Pisces may impact you and your 5th house, and then any obstacles or areas of resistance that are preventing your manifestation to come in, and then finally advice from Spirit. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see what we have here. Owl Spirit, you see clearly now, and bring love into this situation. Okay, I love this, especially for your 5th house, because your 5th house even includes romance, right? So there is a sense of, bringing love into the situation of something that maybe isn't as playful, okay, as you would like it to be. So 6 months ago, you may have started on this, trying to bring more play or pleasure into your work, into your family life, into your home, whatever it is. And now all of a sudden you're understanding that the more love you give to something, think of that seed that you planted 6 months ago, the more love that you give it, it doesn't mean more work, it just means more nurturing, more loving energy towards it. Then the more that you will be able to manifest. It's about coming from a situation, coming and looking at situations from a loving aspect instead of a lack aspect. And that is where the wisdom is coming. Understanding that, oh my goodness, look at what I have created here. So, after 6 months, there could be a situation in your life where you have given it a lot more love, right? You've looked for the positives in a situation or a relationship, or you've had a lot more gratitude for it. And by doing that, you have learned that, oh my goodness, if I do this in other situations in my life, oh my goodness, I can really manifest so much of more of what I am wanting. Yeah, this is something, you have blessed, something is unfinished, and yet this is an energy of enjoying the journey. Understanding that, okay, maybe something that you planted 6 months ago hasn't quite come to fruition. Okay, maybe you started your own business, or you started a relationship and it's not quite where you want it to be. The full moon gives you the opportunity to say, do I want to do another 6 months with this person or this situation, this opportunity? Do I want to go another round of 6 months? Because I think what you're seeing here is that the more love, you could have tried other tactics before, Scorpio. So you could have tried, like 6 months ago when you planted the seed, you could have tried some other ways to get something to grow, right? And now as you're getting closer to the full moon and you're putting more love into the situation, all of a sudden you're seeing, oh, wait a minute, if I come from this loving side of me, if I allow myself to be a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more open, a little bit more emotionally attached to something, it starts growing so much faster. And so even though the situation or the relationship is not exactly where it is that you would like for it to be, you're understanding, wait a minute, I want to do another round. I'll stick with it for another 6 months, because you're learning more about how to add love, bring love into a situation in order to manifest exactly what it is that you want. This is a little bit of understanding that, our words and our thoughts really do create our reality. So if we're manifesting from a negative viewpoint, right, or out of a sense of lack instead out of a sense of gratitude and love, then all we'll get is more lack. What we think about is what we bring into fruition in our life. Yeah, look at this. Intuitively, if you just add more love, this is even going to grow even bigger. So even though it may not be exactly where you want it to go, you're understanding, okay, I'm ready to try this new tactic. It's like a new skill that you've learned. And it's beautiful. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at your present energy. Yeah, I think you've been confused about some conflict, right? Like you've tried these other options. You've tried all these options to try to overcome some conflict in your life, whether that's in a relationship or a situation even within yourself or a situation in your life. You've tried some different tactics, It's almost like they're showing me like a psychology 101 book, and you've gone through and you've tried all of these different tactics, reverse psychology or, whatever. Maybe it has to do, maybe you have a teenager and you're trying to use all these different tactics to try to diffuse some type of conflict or have someone come around to your side or to kind of like bring harmony to some situation. You keep taking action on this, okay? But action is not necessarily love, right? Let's think about that. This is very divine masculine energy. It's kind of like, I'm going to work even harder to try to get this to work. This is an energy of divine feminine, understanding that perhaps all the situation needs is a sense of you listening to this person or you allowing them to share their side of the story or something like that, right? It's this energy of you don't really have to do anything but allow this person to perhaps even just vent, right? It doesn't really matter, but it's listening. It's more of a skill of listening. Remember, communication. Half of communication is listening. That's the part we always forget, right? We want to do all the talking, but I feel like this is an energy of allowing someone to kind of like open themselves up and listening, without judgment or something like that. Yeah, because intuitively you know that there is conflict. I almost feel like you're dealing with somebody, okay, that is, you're dealing with somebody that has like something they want to get off their chest, but they may not even know how to do it. You know, I used to teach 4th and 5th graders, and sometimes a child would be upset, you know, like maybe something happened on the playground or something, and then they're crying or something, and I'm trying to figure out what the situation is, right? And it could be that maybe, and I'll have to say I did this sometimes as a teacher, it would be like I would be saying, well, did somebody hurt you? Did you get stung by a bee? Like, you know, they're so distraught that they can't even communicate what's wrong. And you're asking questions. It's almost as if you could have been almost asking questions of this person, okay? But the more you asked questions of this person, you knew something was wrong, but the more that you asked questions, the more upset they got, right? And I can say that with, you know, my 4th and 5th graders. The more questions I asked, the more upset they would get, because it was like, oh my goodness, you know. And then if you just stop and you just say, okay, when you're ready, you can tell me and I will help, you know, and just giving them that safe space, that all of a sudden the child would, you know, get a couple of breaths in, and then then it would all come out, right? And that is what you're seeing clearly now. You know, the owl spirit, you see clearly now that perhaps what has been occurring is that you were really trying to help a person or a situation, but you were asking a lot of questions, and you were almost like, I want to say, perhaps even confusing this person more, just like my students, right? It's kind of like, no, wait a minute. And it's about just allowing them to kind of like open up and tell you what it is that's on their mind. And this is really going to help, because you have creative endeavor and community, and then you have the 501. There's an energy here where there's something that maybe you are working on with a group, okay? But there's this sense of competition, or a sense of, you know, people not being on the same page. Let's put it that way, right? Like, people are not on the same page. So this could be at work. This could be even in, you know, a family situation where you're trying to get people to work together, and you can't get people to work together. This sense that, no, we're competitors, we're not comrades, you know, that type of energy. Yes. And then you have dropping the burden, seeing the love in the situation, allowing the love, focusing on the love instead of the burden. I feel like you've almost, you know, you're a water sign, Scorpio. I feel like you may have taken on the energy of whatever this conflict is, almost like saying, okay, I'm going to fix this conflict. You know, almost like, I'm going to be the one that steps up and fixes this. But the problem is that when you could have started that like 6 months ago, that could have been your new seed. I'm going to get people to work together, whether it's at home or at work. I'm going to get people to work together. But one of the problems is that people just needed time to allow their energies to kind of flow, to take in a deep breath, right? To kind of form their thoughts, and then to have a safe space in order to share their thoughts. And that is, you know, one of the big things is that whenever we are trying to open up our hearts to other people, we have to have that energy of having a safe space, of not feeling like the other people or person is going to either judge us or pounce back on us, right? Or barrage us with a lot of questions or comments or something like that. So let's take a look at what your advice is here. Planning and action, okay? You have planning and action, but look, you have the devil energy and orphaned. It's almost as if you feel as if you don't act on this, okay? It's planning and action, okay? It's about wanting to take action, but it's almost as if the more that you try to plan and act on that plan in this situation, it's almost the more that people are pulling farther and farther apart. In other words, it's about allowing. You look at this, you have the High Priestess and the Ace of Cups, knowing in your heart that these people or the situation is going to work out, but what you have to do is allow it. You can't force it. It's almost this energy of, oh yeah, all I have to do is love this situation, love the people that are in this situation, and allow everybody their almost their own time to come out and share what it is that they're feeling. It doesn't mean that, I'm going to say both of these are the number 8, okay? So this is very spiritual, understanding that you're playing a very spiritual role here. And, if you think about it, right? The spiritual leaders, they don't take a lot of action. They draw people in, and then they allow people to kind of open up to allow them to be who they really and truly are. Yeah, you have the Emperor, the Strength, and the Magician. Understanding that when we try to be the strong one, okay, sometimes that other people can at times feel more pushed away. There is an energy of not allowing yourself to feel like you have to fix something, allowing yourself to kind of like pull back and love the situation for what it is. There's nothing wrong with putting it out to your spirit guides and angels, using your intuition in order to share your love with these people, whether they're with you or not. It is an energy of using your spirit guides and angels, praying, sending love to the situation, and knowing that if you continue to send love to the situation, that it will grow. It will become more malleable, more able to open up, to heal, because you have the healing light. Being grateful. Yeah, this could be a family situation because you have the family card there. It is an energy of understanding that I think you're taking a different tactic. 6 months ago, you may have had one plan in action. It didn't work out. I think it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. And now you're understanding, then you tried another. And I think that you're adding more love to the situation. You're just loving this situation and the people in it. And noticing that when you focus on the good, you get more good out of this situation. When you focus on the bad, you'll get more of the bad. And really and truly just honing in on that. Feeling very blessed about this situation. And I think for a lot of you, you are going to possibly continue this path, not end it. It's a situation where maybe 6 months ago you said, well, I'm going to give it 6 months, and if it doesn't work out in 6 months, I'm walking away. I think at this time you're kind of saying, no, wait a minute, I want to stay with this. I have some new kind of plan of action, if you will, a plan of inaction. Let's put it that way, a plan of inaction, and just leaving your heart open and staying with that. Yeah. Name all the things you love. Are you one of them? Yeah. One of my favorite cards. Understanding that part of this is loving yourself through all of this, that there is no judgment on anyone, including yourself, in this situation. Loving yourself for the part that you're playing, trying to bring harmony to some situation, and yet at the same time, loving yourself in the process. Yeah, beautiful energy. Scorpio, I do personal readings. If you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I have a full moon in Pisces reading up right now. So if you'd be interested in that, the link is down below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. Well, I'm going to leave it there. I really do appreciate all of your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.